I am in a hotel room in Anaheim, right down the street from Disneyland. Just worked out that way. Worked out best just to hang around here while I'm waiting for Summer Game Fest to kick off. And I went to go get myself a Switch 2, which is charging right over there. And I've been playing it for a while now. And it's a Switch Pro. Let's get down. Let's cut to brass tacks here. I don't know what that saying means, but I'm going to say it anyhow. As we cut to the tacks, which are brass, yeah, it's a Switch Pro, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The reason I say that, if this Switch 2 came out 2 to 3 years ago and nothing was different about it, I guess except for the fact that you could play exclusive Switch 2 games, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye. This is very much a Switch 1 with more power. And I think that is only a problem while we wait for the games to get figured out. I mean, really, the big problem is that it's expensive and you're spending a lot of money. So when you go to spend all that money, you want to tell yourself a story. This is something I talk about on my shows all the time, where when you go to spend 400, 500, $600, I spent around 600 because I got a pro controller as well. When you spend like $600, you want to be able to say, and because I spent that money, I am getting this and that and that. And with the Switch 2, it's a little difficult because what you're getting is a lot of the functionality that was already there in the Switch 1 way back in 2017. It's a portable gaming device that can play console level video games, and we're very accustomed to that now. So it's not really a story you could tell yourself to justify things. In the past, Nintendo has recognized this. This has led them to do things like the Wii or the Wii U or the DS or the 3DS, where they're like, hey, let's have a feature that really makes it stand out, makes it feel very different than what came before. And it makes a lot of sense. It does make the narrative of why is this thing worth the money I'm spending now versus the thing I already have very easy. Like, you can tell yourself that, hey, if I get a Wii, I can access these video games that can't possibly work anywhere else. That's just not going to be what happens with the Switch 2 until it does. And by that, I mean, until Nintendo puts an emphasis on special software that it has never released anywhere else before that can, maybe it can, it's not that it can only happen on the Switch 2, but because it's exclusive to the Switch 2, you can only get it on this device. So is that a bad thing? I don't think so. In fact, I prefer this. Now, again, in this moment on day one, when I have the Switch, or the Switch 2, it feels like, boy, I spent a lot of money to play Mario Kart World, and I think that game is a lot of fun, but it is Mario Kart. It is very familiar, and I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling like this is a life-altering thing. And is that the bar? Should every purchase be life-altering? Well, if I'm spending more than, $300, I kind of prefer it to be that way or to feel that way. Um, but that's a day one problem. No matter what, if this was a miraculous life altering thing, I would get used to it. I got used to everything before. I'll get used to whatever this would have been as well. So a week later, when I have this thing or have had the thing and I am accustomed to its features and functionality, and I'm talking vaguely here, not about the Switch 2 specifically, but the idea of like a life altering video game console, whatever that would be. A week later, you get used to it, and then what matters then is the games. So I think what I like about the Switch 2 is that Nintendo has really put themselves into a corner of the only way we can really make the Switch 2 sing, the only way we can really get what we want from this console in terms of sales and excitement is if we deliver with the games. And that is exactly what I want Nintendo to be focused on. The Switch 2 feels like a device that is going to be able to play games really well for several years, a long time. It feels very powerful for a handheld. I think it's NVIDIA technology inside of there actually is working like magic. And then it's a very nice system to use. It's responsive. It feels nice to hold. The materials are have a premium feel to them. The interface is snappy. The speakers are really good. The screen is really good. The analog sticks feel nice. I'm just overall pretty happy with the device, like just using it. I'm just not like, oh, everything I like about it is an improved version of something that already existed. I'm sure that makes sense to a lot of you, and I'm sure a lot of you are getting the Switch 2 and probably having similar feelings to that. So, like, what happens now? Well, I think we do have to kind of wait on Nintendo to deliver on some of these games that they've already announced. But really, I think there's probably going to have to be new games that we haven't even heard about that really feel special and different. Now, that's going to be a challenge because where do you go to make it, like, how do you make a game feel new and innovative after so many years of doing exactly that? Now there's not a lot of soil left to till there, but that's on them. That's their problem, right? This is the company that did kind of redefine things with Breath of the Wild. So I believe that they're capable of it, but do I think they have another Breath of the Wild in them? Probably not with the Zelda series, but or maybe not even the Mario series. But that doesn't mean they couldn't come with something that is, well, look, if they make a good Mario and a good Zelda, a good Pokemon, a good Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe, which is probably what I think they'll do, they're going to be just fine. This is a system that will almost assuredly sell 80 million units, kind of no matter what. It is but does demand fall off a cliff a little bit relative to what the Switch 1 did, because there isn't some obvious thing that everyone has to have. I don't know. Again, this is a Nintendo problem, but I'm feeling pretty good right now with my purchase, because this is the device I wanted, and I have faith in Nintendo's ability to deliver on the software. As far as like what happens in the next month with Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that. But what am I going to use the Switch 1 for? Yeah, I'll play a lot of Mario Kart. And then I downloaded Hitman again. I'll be playing that. I am curious, though, like what people's reaction is going to be beyond like what I'm feeling right now. I expect people to feel pretty similar. Like, hey, this is a Switch Pro and that's fine. Or actually, no. What I expect is people to go like, this feels like it's just a Switch 1.5 and I hate it because of that. And that's because people are going to spend a lot of money to get this thing, and they're going to struggle to justify that. Up to that, I would say just take a slightly wider view and think about things long term, or don't buy it. I think that's completely fair. If you're not ready, if you're not excited for this thing because of the limited games available, you should wait. You should definitely wait. There's going to be plenty of these things. I think people are already talking about going to Walmart's right now this morning and walking out with one after, they had huge lines last night. So yeah, I would wait until this thing actually sparks joy. And in the meantime, if you can't help yourself and then you get it and you're disappointed, well, you bought a video game system. Let's wait for some more video games to come out. And I'm pretty hopeful for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I am even kind of hopeful for Pokemon ZA. And then next year, like, what else do we get? Do we get a new Mario? Do we get a new Animal Crossing? These are games I can't miss out on. So I'm going to be happy with it. But yeah, let me know what you all are thinking. I'm definitely curious. It is a Switch Pro equivalent that is called Switch 2. And then, of course, is different because it has exclusive games. Is that enough for you? Are you happy with this thing so far? Or are you kind of in a situation where you're waiting for the thing to justify itself? Which, to be fair, I think on day one, every console was sort of in that situation. I mean, even the consoles with the best launch lineups, maybe PS2 was all right. GameCube was pretty good right away. N64 with Mario 64. Actually, that's the one for me. Mario 64 justified the N64 on day one for me. Let me know. Let me know if there is something the Switch 2 is already doing that makes you feel like it's already cleared that bar, or what you're waiting for, or if you think it's just never going to get there. I'm definitely curious. This is a conversation I want to keep having. Let's talk about it. All right, I'm going to go to Summer Game Fest now, or go over in that general area so we can get ready for it. We're going to be doing GB at night over on Giant Bomb. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will have plenty more to say on the Switch 2 soon. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.